Hello and welcome to the preview show from RamsTV. Can you believe we are already over a quarter of the way through this 2022-23 League One season? It's been eventful so far, hasn't it? Well, it continues today for Derby County with a first ever league trip to this version of Accrington Stanley. It's one of 11 matches in League One today. Charlton don't visit Portsmouth till Monday night. Elsewhere this afternoon, leaders Plymouth go to MK Dons, second place Ipswich host Lincoln, and the other team near the top, Sheffield Wednesday, they are at Cambridge. And we'll show you how the League One table looks just before we leave. But let's begin our build-up to today's game by hearing from one of the few Derby players to have experienced a game at the Wham Stadium before. Tom Barkhuizen, actually a goalscorer against Accrington for former club Morecambe, getting on for 10 years ago. He's been talking to us about the impact of new boss Paul Warne.
Yeah, he's good. He's a big bundle of energy, which I think everyone has seen. Yeah, it just seems like a really good guy. He loves his caffeine. You can tell he's had a few coffees in the morning, but I think it's brought, he's not brought good energy because there was always good energy, but it's just, a new voice, new energy coming in, and yeah, not just him, the staff in general. I think every one of them that have come in, been really good and impressed.
You've played against Paul Warne teams before. Do you build up sort of a perception of a manager based on his teams when you face them, if you know what I mean?
I think so, but I suppose every time I faced them in the Championship, they had the smallest budget in the Championship. They probably adapted differently to how he's come here. We're one of the bigger teams in the league, and he's probably adapting just as much as we are. And yeah, he's obviously got his basic principles that he sticks with, and we need to adapt to that quickly because I know we've got a few wins, but we need to start really picking up the pace and getting more consistent with our all-round game, and then hopefully the results will follow.
What are the big things that he has changed so far?
Obviously we're not playing out from the back as much, but I suppose you go back to perceptions. My perception was always that Rotherham were more of a long ball team, and they would put balls in the box and they're horrible to play against. But he doesn't want that. He doesn't want us to just start booming it forward, and that's maybe where we need to adapt a little bit better because we've gone from playing a specific way of football to just because we've been told to go a little bit more front to back doesn't mean that every time we get the ball we have to smack it as far as we can, and that's probably where we need to just touch up a little bit, because I think Saturday became a bit of a basketball game, and it was all about second balls, and not just from them going long. We were just going long at every opportunity, and he doesn't want that. So yeah, hopefully over the next few weeks we can adapt to that, and like I said, get results on the board. You
mentioned Saturday, and obviously a disappointing result. How do you pick yourselves up going to Accrington?
Well, we have to. I don't think it's a case of how do you pick yourselves up, it's a case of we have to pick ourselves up. And to be fair, I think this week we've trained really well. We do have a really good group of players. We just need to probably be a bit more streetwise. We're coming up against a lot of experienced teams in this league, and it's not going to be it's not what I think I said when I signed. It's not going to be easy, and it hasn't been. There's no two ways about it. It's not been easy for us. We've had some good results. We have some bad results, which is going to happen. But I think it's the manner of the results that you look at more than actual losing. And yeah, I think Saturday was, I think Lincoln was probably a big eye opener for us, and then Saturday, we go down to 10 men and we concede straight away. We probably do need to just be a little bit more calm and composed, and get ourselves together, and then we know we've got the quality in the group to win games. So it's just the other side of it that probably needs just touching up on.
Yeah, Derby looking to bounce back from defeat last weekend, though they are going for their first back-to-back away wins in the league today for the first time in over 2 years. They arrive at Accrington, though, and find a home side in pretty good form at the moment. Here's their assistant manager, Jimmy Bell.
But being very good, especially at home. Our home form has been, I think, over the last couple of seasons, rock solid. We'll relish Derby coming here. A little bit in, I wouldn't say turmoil. They've fought with everything to stay alive as a club. and you know, you can only commend them on that. They've done magnificent to even be competing and put a team out at one stage. We didn't even think they were going to be able to put a team out. It is a strong team, and I still think they're finding a way. It's a very, very difficult league, this, very difficult to what they've experienced in the last, you know, 30, 40 years. And they'll find the feet, and someone will get it right. They've got a very good manager now, and it'll be a really tough game, and one that we're really, really looking forward to.
You touched on Paul Warne there, obviously such experience from Rotherham of going up, coming back down, rebuilding, going up again. For him to have swapped Rotherham and a club that he has such a close association with and such success with for Derby, what does that say about the challenge and the stature of that club?
Well, I think you'll have to ask him that. Only he'll know that. It seemed a little bit of a strange move, but one that I'm sure that he has reasons for why he done it. Whether he thought his time might have been coming to an end in 12 months, or I don't know. You'll have to ask Paul that. But he's gone from one club to an even bigger club, and it's a shame because managers come in now and they usually get a response. New managers, you know, for 4-6 games. But you would, when you go from one club to another, you at least want to bring some players in. Because the way that the windows are now, that's unable to do. So he's got to work with a group of players who are very, very good, really experienced players. And I'm sure he'll get a tune, he'll stamp his own authority onto it and his own identity into the style of play that they want to play. And, you know, as you say, his record's second to none at this standard. So I'm sure he'll get it right in the long run.
How valuable, how important is the sort of stature and history and size of a club in a division that's full of clubs like that?
Yeah, well, they are the massive club, aren't they? They're one of the biggest now in League One, if not the biggest, you know, along with the Sheffields, Ipswich, Portsmouths. They're all massive, massive clubs, and you just feel as though they're just finding their feet. Things aren't quite right at the minute. It's great for us because, you know, we'll be playing 11 men on our hallowed turf, and we'll be telling them that that's exactly what you're doing. You're playing 11 men. You're not playing a club who won the league in 71, 74, was it, under Mr. Clough and Dave Mackay. You're playing a team, a League One team, on an even keel on our pitch, and as I say, our form has been rock solid at home. We've had the odd defeat here and there and a few performances, but on the whole, our players give absolutely everything every time they put an Accrington shirt on. So we're going to really relish this. It'll be a great crowd, great day on Saturday, and we're really looking forward to it.
Well, Accrington did fall to defeat at leaders Plymouth last weekend, where they also had captain Seamus Keneally sent off. But they had won 3 in a row in the league before that, including home victories over Cheltenham and Morecambe. A win today would likely take them into the top half, would definitely take them above Derby. The Rams start the day just a point above the hosts. Now let's hear from Derby boss Paul Warne. His first home match in charge didn't go the way he wanted it to last weekend, of course, but he's been reflecting on his first Pride Park experience and, more importantly, what the family and mum Jenny made of it all.
Well, I think they loved it. They especially loved the first 10 minutes when the crowd were jumping up and down. My mum probably thought, I hope the foundations have been done properly. I don't want the whole ground collapsing. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. They got really spoiled. The owner and his wife, David and Kath, kindly went over and met my family, which is really nice. So yeah, so they feel like they've been here a long time, which is lovely.
And what did you learn, more importantly, I guess, about your team at the weekend?
Cool. That's a tough question. That was a nervous itch in my nose, wasn't it? That's like a time breaker. Just that there's certain departments that we need to be better at, and maybe I let them down a little bit. That I think that the message that they received off me was like, I like to play forward, run forward. If there isn't a pass on to go forward, then you can go sideways or backwards. But predominantly, like, we're trying to break lines all the time. And I think that's how I said it, and that's how I thought it came across. But watching the team as the game went on, it looked like, no, just play forward no matter what. So, and that's my fault. The message hasn't come through the way I wanted it to. So we have to address that. We still have to be better on a few things that I'm not going to elaborate on, obviously, because if Aki watch this, they'll think, oh, that's good of him to tell us that's their weakness. But there's a few things. But generally, there was a lot of positives from the game I was really pleased with. And, you know, a decision here or there goes your way. You come away winning and you think, like, life's pretty good. But it also teaches the lads that, you know, this league especially can be cruel. You can be the better team in the game for large parts, but you can still lose. And I know that happens at every level, but I think this league even more so.
Without James Collins for the next 3 league games, how much of a blow is that for you?
Yeah, it's a big blow. I mean, obviously, when we came in, James is a player that I've tried to sign on a couple of occasions. He was the one I earmarked on day one, saying that you really enjoy playing for me, we'll create loads of chances. So some of the things I've said are right. He has. He scored, obviously, 3 and 2, which is great. And as a striker, when you're in that sort of run of form, it's an amazing feeling. You feel invincible. So for him to now to come out 3 days, he's still sulking a little bit even now when I do this, and it's Thursday afternoon, so he's been a bit downbeat. But unfortunately, that's how football is. If you raise your arm, there's always a consequence.
Any good news from the squad? David McGoldrick, Corey Smith, are they back?
Yeah, they're back, training with us all week, which is good news. Tomo played, was the best player I thought in the under-21s. He's got his legs back for the weekend. Yeah, and they all look pretty fresh. I mean, it helps when the sun's shining. It's a beautiful place to train, and they're privileged, and hopefully they can keep healthy for the weekend. But yeah, in that respect, obviously I know I lose a couple, but I've gained a couple.
What's the message to the players ahead of the trip to Accrington at the weekend?
Well, luckily, well, not luckily, they deserved it, but they've taken that, you know, away points and that drama. There's always another drama waiting, obviously, but I know how football is. But took that away, and I just said to him this morning about, look, it's just a game of football on a piece of grass with white lines. Don't worry about where it is, how many are there, what the stadium is it home, is it away, what injuries they've got. Look, we'll have a game plan to try and stop Accrington's strengths, and they've got a lot. They're a really good football inside this year, and we'll have a game plan to try and cause them all sorts. And we always say to the lads that, you know, sometimes the opposition's strengths become their weaknesses if you can manipulate it. So that'll be the message, and the message, as always, home or away, will be go out and try and win the game. We're not trying to shut up shop and nick one on the break or anything like that. We will go for the game from the first minute, go for the jugular, and that's the way we want to play.
A quick look at the table before we go. Plymouth continue to set the standard. Sheffield Wednesday doing their best to keep pace with the top 2. Ipswich there as well. It's a little more congested from 4th place. Peterborough down. Derby start the day only 3 points off the playoffs. They do have games in hand, remember. A win should take Accrington into the top half today. They're 5 clear of the bottom 4 as things stand. Morecambe sit at the foot of the table. Just 1 win in 12 so far for them. That's just about all from the preview show. Matchday Live will be with you from 2:30 this afternoon. Overseas viewers can watch Accrington Stanley against Derby County with us on RamsTV. Go to the website dcfc.co.uk to get your match pass now. Goodbye.